Dr. Hold's a difference maker because he's really dedicated his life to the success of this company, to the education that it provides, to the participants.
He cares about the industry. He cares about the agents and the company personnel.
Dr. Hold is old school. It's always suit, tie, buttoned up, professional delivery.
He drove a brown Corvette at one time with the CIC license plate. So this man has cared how he is perceived and looked upon, and that still hasn't changed today.
So I went from sort of being a bum to a visionary. I was born in Canada, Montreal, Canada. My mother was an immigrant from Lebanon. Her family moved to Canada very early in her childhood. And my father was an immigrant from Germany.
His father had his own little construction business, and then his mother actually had a translation business. I think that's really where he saw the benefits of starting something new and being your own boss and trying to really do something for yourself and help others within that.
The whole idea of hard work and sticking with it and not being deterred.
His father was actually a captain, head engineer of a banana boat that shipwrecked off the coast of Florida and basically somehow sent message back to my father, his brother, and his mom that, hey, I'm here in Florida and Miami. I can't get back home, so you guys need to come here. And from that, they migrated all the way from Montreal, Canada to Miami, Florida.
I worked in a factory for a while in an aircraft company at the Miami International Airport, and I didn't work there very long, and then every time you couldn't get a cup of coffee unless a whistle blew. And I said to myself, is this the way I want to live? You know, not that it isn't honest work and they're not good people, but my life is controlled by a whistle? You know, what freedom do you have? So that's when I decided, go to Florida State.
So Dr. Hold was approached while a student at Florida State University for a scholarship to go into their insurance and risk management program.
And one day, when I was a junior, one of the professors said, you know, we've noticed you and you make pretty good grades. Would you like a $450 scholarship? Well, that's when I had my little dry cleaning business.
He says he owns some company, but I think he was just a dry clean delivery guy. You can't convince me otherwise.
And I said, well, that's terrific, $450, that's a lot of money. Well, what do I have to do? They said, you need to be an insurance major. I said, you got your man, I'm in.
Because of that scholarship, he was able to continue school, to be in the College of Business, to study insurance and risk management. He got good enough grades at that to then be asked if he wanted to go to graduate school and ultimately get his PhD in risk management insurance. And he never thought that would be possible.
I went through graduate school at the University of Wisconsin and I taught there a brief period. Then I was asked a very nice offer from the University of Texas. You have a professor here. There was two people that come to my office I'd never met before when I was a professor at the University of Texas, and they said, we have this idea about an education program for experienced people in Texas.
There really wasn't an opportunity for agents to learn Texas-specific policies, processes, procedures.
The National Alliance began in 1969 with Mr. Rubel and 11 other gentlemen, insurance agents, wanting to become better and to make the industry more professional.
So when I left the University of Texas, everybody said, you're nuts. You're a tenured professor, you're 29 years old, what are you thinking?
He asked about the budget. Well, there was no budget. Well, the participants, there were no participants. So he put his faith in Mr. Rubel and this idea.
Before CIC got started, there was no continuing education laws. People didn't have to do education to maintain their insurance license.
We followed the pattern of what's in an insurance agency, because this was all geared originally towards agents, which it still is in the main today.
He was able to really work with a lot of these state regulators to make that a law and to enforce those standards.
We started out with the four programs: agency management, personal lines, commercial casualty, commercial property.
The prime goal was survival. And I mean that sincerely, because we really had no money. So the prime goal was to have the really good programs, the programs that were useful to people and that they could use.
That's what makes the National Alliance so special. It's not just theory, its practical application.
And in 1980, times began to change, and people said you really can't have a successful agency without life and benefits. So then we added the fifth program, which was life and benefits.
The next was CISR.
After we'd established CIC and we had a pretty good foothold, we came up with the idea, with the help of a few other people, about service representatives.
There was a lot of other organizations trying to compete right off the gate just because they didn't want Dr. Holt and the CIC program to gain more ground within the industry. So he talks about it as the CSR wars.
We had a lot of competition, but they didn't have the stamina, they didn't have the willpower to maintain the standards, and it didn't have the faculty base that we had.
One of the things I think that really shows his level of integrity and his level of honesty is that we still kept to the standard of people only pass when they pass. If we designate someone a CISR, it's truly because they passed all 5 parts.
People just couldn't compete with us on those levels.
Then came dynamics of selling. After that, and there was a group that helped to develop that curriculum.
So one thing sort of led to that, but it all stemmed from what we perceived as a need, and that need was demonstrated to us by people coming to the classes.
I think about my father starting this business and being able to really see this idea grow and prosper and be relevant and provide value for 50 years is really something that you don't see often, especially in businesses today.
He has been a great mentor. That does not mean I always agree with everything he says, nor does he agree with everything I say.
Well, Betty's a very important person in our office. She really knows more about this than I do. And that's how we've kept a lot of people, because we said they're good people, they know what they're doing, and they did.
I think it's a sense of respect and trust that we have with each other. I think that has built a strong bond with a lot of us here.
He started with a couple of agents saying, hey, let's teach people how to be better educated, and took that to, 150,000 people inside of it. That's quite an accomplishment.
When you look at the numbers from 0 to this in 50 years, that was a lot of work that made that happen.
He said, I never could imagine in a million years the career I would have had, the people I would have met, the industries I would have been, could truly help transform an industry and transform hundreds of thousands of people's professional careers. Is crazy to think about.
I'm very fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with him. It's nice to have someone that will give you the opportunity and that will support you.
Back when we started this, it was a very small little ship. It was like a little rowboat, you know, and you could turn that rowboat any way you wanted to. But now we've got a big ship to turn.
We have a new level of management. We've brought in William Holt, Dr. Holt's son, and of course I'm very proud of William because I've known William since he was born. And to see him grow into this new position and see, you know, how the business is going to go forward, it's exciting.
It's going to take a team to do what Dr. Holt has done, and a team has been assembled, and a very good one with the leadership of Will.
My hope for the National Alliance and Dreams are to continue to build on the foundation that Dr. Holt and others have laid for this organization.
I'm not leaving the ring, I'm just changing gloves. So I'll be working with the board, I'll be working with our licensees.
Everyone wants to be on a winning team, and this absolutely is one of the greatest winning teams of all time.
I'm very fortunate, you know, blessed that I can look back and people respected what I did when I was a professor and an academe, and people respect what we're doing in business.